I was lucky enough to visit with the Capital Institute staff on Monday and really hear firsthand how the theory, the vision around regenerative capitalism is being refined on a daily basis. Organizations around the world are eager to interact with these ideas, whether it's a global pension fund or a huge insurance company or a small regenerative enterprise. People want to connect with the work of the Capital Institute. So on Monday, I got to hear firsthand where this thinking is going around regenerative capitalism, hear how it's being received, how people are running with the ideas. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, I got a chance to be here in Florida with the amazing people working at First Green Bank and with community members. We had an event last night with 70 people, many of whom turned out to be regenerative entrepreneurs and visionaries in their own right. There were people that want to convert a Greyhound bus station in Daytona Beach into a living building. There are people that want to do net zero energy homes at scale because we're seeing huge pressures for development. And so if you can do not just one solar home, but whole neighborhoods that are solar, that are treating their own gray water and stormwater in innovative ways, that are financially viable for people to buy, it's doable, and there are people here that want to do that, and they want to connect with First Green Bank and connect with other financing sources. So we're seeing the beginnings of a regenerative economy here in Central Florida. The seeds are here, and a single community bank like First Green Bank can be a hub, can be that connection point for lots of businesses that want to work with each other. I think really a regenerative economy is an ecosystem of organizations. It's not about separate kind of visionary one-off businesses that have to figure out how to build all of this from scratch. It's about that community, that ethosystem of regenerative businesses. They're playing off of each other. They're learning from each other, and they're literally exchanging materials and services. They're circulating. They're finding ways that waste from one producer becomes a resource for the next. They're talking to each other about their needs. So if we try to do a living building in Central Florida, it could create a whole process of saying, how can we get local wood? Who do we talk to? Who's manufacturing those products? Can they make them in a somewhat different way to meet Living Building Challenge standards? Or who's manufacturing this building material? Can it be made in a less toxic way or more regenerative way? Can we get super glazed window systems? Well, can the local high performance window manufacturers borrow ideas from the rest of the world? How can we connect all of this, connect the organizations working towards a regenerative economy, and how can we create the financial underpinnings for that? So how can First Green Bank and other visionary financial institutions feed the capital that's needed on a variety of timescales and make it flow and circulate and work together? So for me, it's been a complete experience of going all the way from the Capital Institute, hearing their vision and hopes for the next few years, all the way to seeing on the ground here in Central Florida glimmerings of what a regenerative economy might look like, and glimmerings from this really inspiring bank that is at the center of all of these possibilities. And it's nascent, it's early, it's emergent. We don't know how it's going to unfold. And I can't emphasize enough that it's a journey, that it's a conversation, it's a dialogue that creates new possibilities. And opening that space to say together, we have lakes that are degraded. How do we create a regenerative healing cycle? We have people that are unbanked, that are excluded from the economy. We have development pressures in an area that was once one of the leading citrus growing areas in the world. There is such enormous development pressure. How do we figure out how to build in completely new ways while reweaving the best of what does exist? How do we protect and reweave and restore the agricultural lands here as well as the significant wildlands? How do we have that balance and that matrix of connectivity so that the people here are more connected in their transportation opportunities, more connected in terms of financial inclusion and opportunities for self-transformation, while the animals and the plants and the incredible water systems can also be coursing along, flowing along, and staying connected through it and around it all. And to me, that's a regenerative landscape where the wild systems are flourishing, our rural areas are highly productive and also healthy for wildlife. They're not producing runoff that's destroying the health of nearby lakes, and the human communities are thriving. So that's a regenerative landscape. If we create a regenerative economy, it can support a regenerative landscape. And it all begins with a very inclusive dialogue about what's possible and what we want to create. And the beautiful thing is it's different every place. I've traveled all over the world trying to learn from what communities are doing, how they imagine regeneration. It's different everywhere, and it's also, at its core, the same. It's a hopeful conversation about possibilities, about inclusion, about working together across every line that you can imagine. And when a community has that ability to find that core sense of we are all so different and yet this is our shared place, it binds us, it creates a common sense of purpose and possibility. When I see that happening in a community, I get inspired, I get hopeful, and I try to stay connected and learn from that work. So my hope is here in Central Florida that conversation about possibility, about long-term regeneration can really take root and be nourished by flows of capital that can support restorative regenerative enterprises. You need both. You need the conversation that creates possibilities, optimism, hope, and then you need a way for the entrepreneurs and the civic entrepreneurs to then run and create whole new ways to run a business, to hold a social conversation, to govern, to do policy, and then implement it and make it go. So it's really been a privilege to spend this time both with the Capital Institute and with First Green Bank. And I'm very excited to see what happens next in the journey.